Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Sports Central. I'm Neil Duncan. We've got a great show lined up for you today. We're going to talk to an absolute legend in high school volleyball, and we're going to talk about some great events that are coming up at Sun and Fun. Stick around, everybody, for this week's edition of Sports Central. Gerald Richardson, and this first segment brought to us by the Ledger, but it's not some great weather out there. It's
not today.
But we need the rain.
Not good sports weather, but it's good for the fields.
It is good for the fields, and of course there's been so many sports and special events going on in Polk County that those fields need the rain, a little recovery there, and there's always something going on here in Polk County. You can always go to centralfloridasports.com or visit centralflorida.org. But we got a great show for you today. We're going to get right to it. And we're extremely excited to introduce our first guest of the program, Lisa Bickerton, former George Jenkins head volleyball coach. And Coach, thank you for taking the time, braving the elements, if you will, coming out. But 20 plus years coaching, recently stepped down, retiring from the sport. You got 12 minutes. Go. Tell us all your experiences. No, I'm just kidding. Talk to us about what the experience has been like, and then we can just kind of go from there.
Well, thank you for having me. I love the lead-in with the legend of a volleyball coach. I appreciate that. But it's been a great 21 years. I've been there since the school opened. I was working with Diane Warwick as her assistant, JV coach when the school first opened at George Jenkins High School, and then took over in 2001, and just have loved every minute of it. You know, there's hard times, there's good times, but being able to help the kids and see their successes down the road is just probably the best part of it.
370 wins. Really?
Yes.
I mean, come on. You got 30 more in you, right? Come on. We would get to 400. But unbelievable. Talk about the staying power that it takes to coach that many years, because the sport, student athlete, the whole thing has changed.
Everything's changed because now kids aren't just playing, you know, high school volleyball is 3 months, and they're not playing 3 months. You're there 10 months of the year. You keep working with the kids. Most of them do club ball now, so they're playing travel ball. So, you know, and I work club ball with No Limits Volleyball Club out of Highland Park Church of the Nazarene. So, you know, you got to love it. If you don't love it, there's no point in coaching sports.
Wonderful. 20 plus years, what, you know, just some of the highlights, you know, through there for you, success stories that have came about through this long tenure?
There's so many of them. Going to the state, that was probably my best year. We went and played St. Thomas Aquinas. We ended up losing that one, but it was a great season. Seeing some of the kids, some of the rivalries with Lakeland High School develop, those kids just getting fired up, and just the energy they play those games with, and the energy the crowd puts out, those are exciting. And then, you know, just seeing the kids go off to college. When you have a season and you have 6 or 7 seniors and all of them are able to go off and play in college, that's worth it.
And I think you hit on something interesting that you know, you can be a fan of a particular school, but maybe you don't go to all the sports competitions that school might have, and that's true in college, as high school, or you know, the like. But you talk about that rivalry with Lakeland, for example. It's not just on the football field or on the basketball court, or talk about. I mean, it goes through every sport.
Every sport, yeah, it goes through every sport. And when the kids find, you know, at volleyball matches especially, the fans are kind of close to each other because, you know, they're only separated by the court. And they will go back and forth shouting things and yelling things and look at the scoreboard and, you know, you can't do that and stuff like that. And it just hypes up just such energy in the whole facility that the kids get fired up while they're playing. And, you know, it's just, you're in the huddle, and, you know, as you're talking to your girls in the huddle, you're normally like this, but in that type of atmosphere, you're screaming,
sure, trying
to tell them something to do in the next play, and it's just, that's fun.
Yeah. What is it that, obviously with your career, what is it that brought you to Jenkins? How did you get started there when, I know you mentioned you were there from the beginning, from day one kind of, but what took you to Jenkins?
Well, I worked with Miss Warrick when I was in high school. She was coaching a club program and I worked with her. And then Jenkins was opening up and they were looking for extra coaches, and I was like, hey, if you'll have me, I'll be happy to work with you. And she knew me from club, so she hired me, and that's how it all started.
Wow.
So you talk about Miss Warrick, and another one that comes to mind, of course, my connection to Bartow, but Marnie Cobb, of course, she went in the Polk County Sports Hall of Fame for what she did. So was there connection with Marnie, or were there other mentor type folks in Polk County and other schools that you guys kind of relied on each other?
Yeah, we relied on each other, and it's a small little community. You kind of know each other, and if you don't, you know somebody who knows somebody. But Carlton Benton, he used to run Lakeland Juniors and worked with the city of Lakeland. He kind of got me started with club ball. And then Marnie, I mean, growing up through volleyball, you know Marnie. She was around everything. She was the AD at Bartow for so many years, so she was with all sports. And I remember sitting with her at the FACA meetings, the Florida Athletic Coaches meeting, to vote for Players of the Year and all that stuff. And she was always so helpful and friendly. So, yeah.
Just to follow up on that, can you talk about the development side? Because obviously relationships, and anything you do, relationships are important. If you're going to move an initiative or a program or anything like that forward, you have to rely on other people, because I think you'd probably be the first to admit all your success, though you're steering the ship, took a lot of people to get there.
A lot of people. I mean, I have 9 assistant coaches that helped me this year and have for the last few years. And but yes, you have to, if you're going to get something started, it can't just come from you unless you have a lot of pull in the community. But you have to have other coaches that come in and help you. I remember Marnie was significant in starting, we would do a summer league, and she was significant in starting that and getting Don Bridges to help us, you know, get that facilitated. And we were carrying that on for many years until COVID, and we had to stop for a while. But
Wow.
yeah, you have to have help.
Yeah. What, obviously you're done with your position, head coach. Do you have any ambitions to continue to kind of help from the shadows?
Not at this moment.
Okay.
I think whoever comes in after me, I'm hoping it's going to be Morgan Rogers, who's been my assistant for 9 years. But I think they need to get their footing without me there, looming over them, and this is how Coach Bick did it and all that stuff. So I want to step aside for a while. Maybe down the road, depending on what I end up going to do, I might come back and, you know, be somebody's JV coach like Gary Meyer, but not at the moment.
So as you look at volleyball, and I know it's, as you said, club and all that has changed, but what are the biggest changes you've seen in the sport? Obviously, the student athletes are getting bigger, stronger, faster, and have been for a long time, but what changes have you seen over your 20 years?
I think the biggest change is you don't see them playing other sports. You know, they're focused on one sport, and basically that's how you get to college. You're playing 10 months out of the year, and they want you to play travel ball. But just some of the little things like the scoring. We went from 15 points to rally scoring, 25, 3 out of 5. We added the libero over the time that I was there, the defensive player. Gosh, I don't know what else there is.
But fundamentally, so there's been changes, but fundamentally the game is the game, and, and
yes,
the approach.
definitely.
So how do you specialize with your players? Because you said that they're only playing one sport, so I guess I shouldn't say specialize, but how do you keep it fresh for your players? Because if they're playing 10, 11 months of the year,
they have to
there
love
can be
it.
some burnout.
Yeah, they have to love it, and you have to. I mean, when I first started, I was working with little kids. I used to work out of Kelly Rec and do 6 and 7-year-olds, and you just have to make them love the sport and want to be there and want to work hard. And I just try to tell them, you know, working hard is what's making us better, and this is fun. Enjoy it, please.
You will enjoy it.
What, obviously, the past 20 years, this has consumed a considerable amount of your time. What now?
I don't know. A lot of people have asked me that question. A lot of people said I should ref or, do private lessons or that. And I'm just going to kind of sit back and see what happens. I just bought a new house and I have a pool now, so I'm going to enjoy that for a little bit and then see what comes of it.
Nice. Wonderful.
So after about 3 days, you'll be back to the gym.
I'm still going to coach club ball for a few years, so I'll still be in the middle of it, but just stepping out of the high school realm for now.
Wonderful.
Well, that's fantastic. And, a lot of times in Polk County, football, basketball kind of gets the headlines as, oh, what a hotbed of talent and recruiting and all that. But really, it's true completely across the board, all sports here in Polk County. Volleyball's the same thing.
Volleyball's the same thing. And if we actually pulled the numbers, you would see kids in all sports are going to college and they're getting scholarships. And, they're going through 4 years of college on a paid scholarship. So Polk County has a lot of good athletes, a lot of good sports.
Absolutely.
A lot of good coaches around here.
That is true.
You're going to. He's a good golfer.
Hey.
I've heard he's a great coach, but he hasn't fixed my game yet. So
I haven't had the opportunity.
Well, that's true. I got to get out of the
I can't
office.
fix it if I don't have the opportunity.
And do that. So, Coach, we've got about a minute left here. If you had one piece of advice, either to an athlete or to a parent, let's say to a parent, they've got a youngster looking to find a sport or whatever, why volleyball, and what would be your advice on how to allow their development from a young age up into high school?
I say they need to find a place where they can go play. When they're young, play all sports to see what they love.
Okay.
But volleyball is fun. It's exciting. It's a great sport to watch. It's a great sport to play. It's fast-paced. It keeps moving. And it's indoors. There's no worry about the rain.
That's a good selling point. Well, Coach, thank you so much for coming on. We wish you nothing but success in your retirement from volleyball and your club teams. I know you've got a few more years before
yes.
you retire from teaching, but between coaching and being a teacher, we can't give you enough praise and thanks for what you do for
Thank you.
not just George Jenkins, but the Polk County area.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Well, good luck to you. Well, what a great interview and fantastic stuff there. And, each June we have the Polk County All Sports Awards and Hall of Fame induction ceremony. And it's coaches like Coach Bickerton that make that event easy to put on because there's so many worthy athletes and events. And speaking of great events, each year we host the IRONMAN in Haines City. It's already happened once this year, but because of our great partnership with IRONMAN, they're actually bringing a second event, which will be December 12th to Haines City. We'll be right back here on Sports Central. Check out this, I said information, check out this package on IRONMAN. We'll be right back.
Today is the Haines City 70.3 half Ironman. So it's 1.2 mile swim, 56 mile bike ride, and a half marathon in the hills of Haines City.
I am from Katy, Texas. I live in Atlanta, Georgia, and Haines City is actually a really nice city. I was kind of surprised, to be honest, just because I don't hear much about it.
Haines City's doing great. They're amazing. They treat us well. It's a great venue. I mean, like I said, you just can't beat it. I mean, with the location like this, making it spectator friendly, it might be the best event on, I would say, from a family perspective, where they can keep up with their athlete, and Haines City is just awesome.
The people is amazing, the support, the town, and the run, the thrill of run, the people were amazing.
This is the only course that actually has an MDOT basically swim course. So it's basically just due to the depth of the water for safety for athletes, for boats to be able to get to those certain athletes. If it was a higher, water, we had a lot of rain, then it possibly we could do an out and back. But with this, we create an MDOT. It is a little confusing, but once the athletes get to do the practice swim and feel it out, it's pretty easy.
I've been training for like 3 months specifically for this race, and I just swim, bike, and run a lot every day.
This is my second half Ironman. I've done quite a few triathlons. I'm mostly a marathoner, and I'm doing the Chattanooga Ironman in September.
I didn't specifically train for this race. Some of us all raced last weekend, but this is just a stepping stone for me on the way to Ironman Vineman at the end of July.
Well, I trained for every half Ironman. This for me was a race to measure how I'll be doing on my half this year. I'm planning to go to Australia to the 70.3 World Championship, and this was a training race, although I tapered. And well, I train every week between 15 and 20 hours.
Well, the bike course was really tough, more than some of the races have been, but it was a really nice race.
You know what? I really like the crowd support on the run. I could tell that the stations really were committed to cheering everyone on as we suffered through. It made it worthwhile. They're really helpful.
My favorite part of the race, it was the bike, especially. I love the course. I love the big hills. It's very challenging. I like it. And also the run was really good too.
My favorite part of the race was the bike. Amazing hills, very safe. I love this race. I will come back for sure next year.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Sports Central. Neil Duncan alongside Gerald Richardson and Ironman.
Yeah.
December 12th. That'll be the second one to Polk County. Of course, that's a huge economic impact, and we're proud to, as always, to be working with the city of Haines City. And of course, there's multiple agencies that are involved with that, their PD, the county sheriffs, and all that. But great event. Go up there and check it out. This second segment brought to us by Made Productions, great partner of tourism and sports marketing. Have you ever ran an Ironman?
No.
Do you run anywhere?
Possibly.
You do run?
Yeah. Around the neighborhood from time to time.
Oh, okay.
I don't venture too
Really,
far out.
really
from the
in-depth
neighborhood.
stuff there, Gerald.
Yeah.
We'll go ahead and get to our second guest. Of course, Sun and Fun Fly-In is every spring, but one of the misconceptions is that it's just that one event, and that's just not true. There's multiple events that the crew out there are hosting year-round. And with that, we're going to welcome Melanie Ayers, Sun and Fun Director of Sponsorships and Corporate Partnerships, and welcome to Sports Central.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Well, as I just mentioned, a lot of folks think that it's just relegated to the fly-in, and that's just not true when it comes to Sun and Fun. There's events year-round.
That is our main annual fundraiser, and throughout the years, we just had a Halloween event. It was a small event, but now we're moving forward with our second annual Holiday Fly-In Festival, presented by Geico, Honda Generators, Gulf Coast Avionics, and Garmin. So we're really excited about that.
Wow.
And car show. Right?
Fly-In and car show.
There's a
absolutely.
car show, right?
Yes, the Lakeland Corvette Club is hosting that portion of it, and we've got many cars coming out just with a beautiful display. And what's interesting is that we're also having an air show or a plane display as well. And so what we like to do is we like to take the vintage cars and place them next to that same year of plane that's coming in about that same era, and then take some great photographs of that.
Wonderful. Just talk a little, I know that's December 3rd and 4th, just around the corner. What are some of the details of that event, some of the things that are going to be happening other than the car show?
What's really exciting, our headlining event is the stall competition, which stands for short takeoff and landing. And so it's very much, it's a World War II era where a lot of planes were taking off in the Alaskan bush, or, with shorter runways. And so now the men have gotten together and say, I can take off in, this shorter distance or that, and so it's become a competition. And so you just get a different face, a younger generation of pilots that come through here, and it's very adventuresome, and the planes are just so close to you. They're actually flying taking off of a grass runway, and you get to be, as the audience, you get to be up close and personal. Many times, we're separated by that fence from the airport, but come join us and see the stall competition, and you'll be there up close and personal with them.
Wonderful. Is this the show you guys have Santa as well?
We do.
Yeah.
So we're very excited. We've got the North Pole. Mrs. Claus, she is a lovely, vivacious lady, and she is manning the North Pole until Santa Claus arrives. He will be coming in by Waco aircraft. We'll be bringing him in, and he'll be climbing out of the plane and saying hello to the children and picking up the cards that the children have written to him and given him their wonderful wish list.
Wonderful. Is that both days, or is that just one of the 2 days?
That's Saturday right around noontime.
Okay.
So that's the 3rd.
That
Correct.
is, it's
Saturday.
Saturday the 4th.
4th.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So it's
the
Friday,
4th and
Saturday. I'm
5th.
sorry, it's not
Yeah.
Saturday, Sunday.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was too busy listening about the Santa portion of this, to make sure that I have it right. But you talk about this event. We talked about other events, but it's just crazy to sit here the first part of November, and next month is Christmas time frame. But as we look forward, and we'll get back to this event, but as we look forward, there's other events that are on the calendar that are scheduled coming up, but all eyes are obviously gearing to the fly-in. Anything you can tell us about the fly-in, or any news you want to break here on Sports Central? Because we love to do that.
Well, what's fascinating about the Aerospace Expo is that there's so many components, and so it's an active, moving event that is morphing as we plan for it. So you'll have to tune in later, and once we solidify some more details.
But I want to do it now.
I know.
That's okay. We'll wait. We're just excited.
Yeah.
The one thing that I can say is that the Thunderbirds will be joining us this year.
Okay.
Yes.
Wonderful.
They're
There
my
you go.
favorite. I know a lot of people love the Blues and some of the, but I love the Thunderbirds.
This year they're my favorite.
Right. A very political, correct statement there that you don't want to offend the other fly teams coming in. We'll talk about sort of the mission, the money that's raised. The fly-in is the biggest fundraiser, but as we said, there's other events. But a lot of that money goes right back into programming for students and trying to put more qualified individuals into an industry that has seen a decline in people trying to get into aviation or trying to get into flying planes. Talk about that a little bit with the school there.
I think that across the board, you know, when I was a child, I used to think when I would take plane rides, I would sit and I would get in my car, go to the airport, you go into this building, you go through the terminal, and then you go through a door and you sit on a seat, and all of a sudden you feel a little bit of rumble. You're just so disconnected from what you're actually doing, the fact that you're in a plane and that you're taking off. And so what we here at the Aerospace Center for Excellence does, our mission is to engage, educate, and accelerate the next generation of aerospace professionals. So what we like to do, we like to give our children, our students, a hands-on approach to aviation, giving them the fundamentals, the engineering, the understanding of exactly how everything works, and giving them an opportunity to taste, see, and experience aviation. And we do that through very, very many different facets, and we've just opened our Ramos Skylab Innovation Center, and that is where we have the Redbird flight simulation. So, you know, children nowadays, everything's video games, and so we've got these flight simulators that were donated by Redbird flight simulations, and these students can come in, sit down, and they can experience what it's like to fly. And over in our Lakeland Aero Club, we have a flight simulator donated by Redbird Flight Simulations that has the movement capabilities, so you really feel that you're in a plane because of that, and it's in a darkened environment. It's really exciting what we've got going on there in the Skylab Innovation Center. We've also got drones, and the Science on a Sphere is also very exciting because we bring science to life, and we have this beautiful sphere that's hanging from the ceiling in a darkened space, and you can take your presentation and you can give it to the students in this environment, and it makes learning really very exciting and hands-on.
So when we're talking about the simulators, can Gerald and I come over there? Maybe we can take the crew over there.
I was thinking the same
and
thing.
We can have a competition between each other of landing and taking off.
I would love to see it, and you're welcome to videotape that and record it.
Wonderful. What as Neil was talking about, as Neil was talking about the number of events that you guys do, kind of what's on the horizon the next couple years? Is there anything that's in the process of on the calendar, or things that you guys are working on and bringing into Lakeland to be held there at the Sun and Fun?
Well, the Sun and Fun Fly-In and Sun and Fun Expo Campus, we are a venue, and so we host many different events that come through. Right after our big Sun and Fun Fly-In Aerospace Expo, we're going to be having the second Hot Air Balloon Festival, which is the Up and Away Florida event. And Ron Kluge, he is the producer of that event, and it will be the first weekend of May, so everyone put that on their calendars, as well as we've got the Pig Fest coming up here in January. That's key, and we've got FMCA, numerous things coming up. So we're very pleased that our venue is so well received. We have a camping ground, and I think that's what is so exciting to most of the events that come to the area. The fact that they can expand their event possibly from a 1-day to a 3-day to a weekend event, and have camping and everything just very self-sufficient within that space.
And of course, that just brings in that more economic impact, visitors coming in, staying, spending money in Polk County, and of course, as we came out of the pandemic, that was very important to have those visitors and the sports tourism back in the county. But that's fantastic stuff, and we certainly look forward to that. You talk about the Up and Away, so that happened right before the pandemic in 20. They didn't host it last year, so if I'm correct, didn't host it last year, obviously because of COVID and the like, but they're coming back, so very excited to hear that news.
Yeah, so am I. Yes, I was trying to talk Ron Kluge in throughout all of 2021 to go ahead and have it, because we had our our Holiday Flying Festival this past year in 2020, a little bit more like a litmus test to find out what's the temperature of the Florida people, of the local people. Will they come out to the event? And we saw exceedingly abundantly that we were ready to come out, and so here we had it again. We're having it again December 3rd and 4th, the Holiday Flying Festival.
What's the website they can go to for more information?
flysnf.org.
All right, thank you so much. We have to go to break, but we really appreciate it. We appreciate you. We appreciate the whole team, and of course, Sun and Fun and all the events they're bringing into Polk County.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
All right. Well, speaking of events, the Central Florida Wheels of Steel is coming back to Polk County. That's December 11th and 12th. We're going to take a look at some action from a previous event. We'll be back right here on Sports Central.
First off, I was honored that Jason asked me to be a part of it. Kind of what we just talked about. I'm hoping that the people that walk through the door today, and the kids that come through the door, and I've been introduced to a couple of kids today, and I've asked them to come by the shop and check out what we do. I'm hoping that I know what he's trying to do, and he wants to get more people involved in what we do, and he doesn't want to see this industry go away, just like I don't want to either. And this show, I think, is great, especially in Florida, being indoors. I know he's trying to bring it to like a higher class standard with more custom motorcycles and not so much of like the carny type shows that we do. So I think it's great. I think it's great what they're doing here.
And Jason came and approached me in Leesburg, and he asked me, hey Tom, would you like to be part of this show, Wheels of Steel? And I was like, well, explain it to me a little bit, because I'm already up this way, and for me to go back and forth and travel, sometimes it gets in the way. So Jason was nice enough to explain it to me and introduce me to the people that were going to be part of it. And he said there's going to be other bike builders. And then that brought me onto it. I said, this is going to be something neat, because we need to get more of this stuff out there. So when Jason approached me, I said, this is going to be cool, Jay, I'm part of this. And he was really happy to have me part of this. And I was really happy to make this happen, because I like to see this kind of stuff grow. I like to, Polk County is an awesome county. The officers are really nice. They got their bikes on display out here. Super cool guys to talk to. They're real people. And they want this to happen out here. They want to bring this audience here. They want to make it happen. And I'm pretty happy that I got invited to this biker build-off. I wasn't expecting it. The crowd's beautiful. There's some nice bikes out there, some pretty badass builders. Got some nice equipment out there. I got some competition out there against me.
When you say art, it is art, and it is moving art, is to keep recreating yourself and to keep moving forward and to keep, all right, I built this bike, so how am I going to top this one? How am I going to do this to make this one different? I don't know, it's tough. It's a tough deal. And then when you have, like my shop, I probably have 50 bikes in there that we're building. So for me to keep my mind, I had 50 different projects and keep my mind on 50 different people, plus the people that I do build bikes for, I try to incorporate them into their builds. So I try to like hang out with you, get your vibe, what you think's fun and cool, and I try to put that in there, and I don't tell you I'm doing that, so that when I do present this bike to you, because I never send pictures and stuff like that, that like they're blown away, they love it. So a lot of my stuff, sometimes I never get blank canvases, I get pre-existing bikes. When I look at something, like I already see the end result, what I want to do, and like I can't draw a stick figure, man. I can't draw anything. I'm horrible at drawing. I swear to you, I am. Even my signature looks like a chicken scratch, And I don't know. With these bikes and projects, I just see the end results, and I know what I want, and I know what the customer's going to want, and I know that I'm going to wow them because I'm going to give them more than what they expect, their expectations. And then working with my painter, Ryan Hathaway, he's just like me. We're both humble dudes, and we just like doing stuff for people to put smiles on people's faces. So he always blows my expectations away with paint jobs and the stuff that he does, and we work so well together.
We've been out there for a long time, just as long as the other guys in the industry, the Indian Larrys, the West Coast Choppers guys. We're on the East Coast, though we don't get that publicity like we do on the West Coast. West Coast is a little different, but the East Coast is coming on strong. We have great builders over here. Eddie Trotter, Kendall Johnson, me, Thug Custom Cycles, Billy Lane, Bling Cycles. We got some guys over here that can really run the show great. And having that whole clique over here on the East Coast is awesome. We could do what we want on the East Coast. We could do what we want on the Mid-Coast. So that's where the bikes are really taking off. And I did fall in love with Jesse James back in the days. I loved his builds. I loved what he was doing and stuff like that. Some of his stuff I didn't like, but that's all fine because it's an artist. You don't have to like everything, but you're gonna like a lot of it. And that's what makes me really love what I do. I sit there and make every bike a piece of art.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Sports Central. Neil Duncan alongside Gerald Richardson and some cool motorcycles.
Yeah,
there.
those are a nice variety of different motorcycles to see coming up. This segment brought to our friends at the Hampton Inn in Bartow.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, as we were talking about earlier with Coach Bickerton, volleyball, of course, that's a fall sport. We got to thinking about high school football. Tonight is the last regular season, Friday night, and then next week a number of Polk County teams are going to hit the playoffs. And we started talking about some of the greats that have played in Polk County, and of course, Ray Lewis comes to mind. 2018, inducted to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Of course, that whole career started in Lakeland at Kathleen. So we thought, hey, let's look at that Ray Lewis great video there and talking with him. So we'll stop talking. Let's check out this video.
Thanks, guys. Neil Duncan here for Sports Central, and what a privilege I have right now. I've got number 52 with me, Ray Lewis. Ray, welcome back to Polk County.
Yeah, man. Always good to be home.
Here at the Polk County Sports Hall of Fame. Of course, there's a big image of you back there, and we're getting ready to unveil the newest exhibit here at the Polk County Sports Hall of Fame. But let's go back to August 4th, the induction in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. What was that moment like?
Well, I think it was probably one of the greatest moments ever when you talk about from just a dream, right? What does that dream look like? And so when you finally get there, man, it's like you're in a dream because you're seeing some of the greatest legends of all time that you watch grow up when you was growing up. And then when you get there, you're like, well, guess what? You're not watching them anymore. Like, you're actually a part of the team. And so it's a special thing because you're invited into something it's a one-time thing and it's forever. You can never get cut. You can never be taken down, and none of that can happen. And so it's one of those things, man, that you sit back from a child and you say, did I actually accomplish that? Mm-hmm. Like, am I sitting here really and just experiencing it with my family and my daughter and my friends and everybody, man. It was probably one of the greatest sports achievements ever that took me to the next level, honestly, yeah.
I was just getting ready to say, I could go through all the achievements that you accomplished over your career, but we only have an hour show, so we're not going to go through all of those. But talk about the Super Bowls, talk about the MVP, talk about those, going out on top. What did that mean to you?
Yeah, you know what? I tell you what, man. And I think one of the greatest things for me was, I tell guys this all the time, me being in Baltimore for 17 years, wow. I mean, I would never, ever put on another uniform. And to win championships the way we done in Baltimore, to give Art Modell his first ring, mm-hmm. right? To witness going through a 12-year stretch and then coming back and tearing my tricep and like, okay, what's next? And then I'm on the goal line with my back against the wall, and we're like, I got 4 plays
Yeah,
the
this
rest
is
of my
it.
career. Like, this is it. So I'm like, okay, wow, perfect ending, right? But then I'm saying to myself, like, sometimes, a lot of times you have to go through things to get there. And I think as a team, we matured. I think we matured along the way. And the city matured, man, to go, oh my gosh, if you just saw the airports coming back home. And it's amazing because those memories never leave your head. So anytime I see confetti drop, anybody sees confetti, my head just tingles because I can never forget that moment that the last time I strapped up my cleats, I went out as a champion. Yeah.
So much talent out of Polk County. Obviously, one of the greatest ever out of Polk County, number 52. But if you had a message to the youngsters growing up in this county, trying to follow in your footsteps, what would it be?
Yeah, dream big. Dream big. You know, a lot of us give up because of our environments, you know, but sometimes your environments are actually there to actually push you, you know, and I think kids, you know, we don't have the things perfect, right? Nothing in life will ever be perfect. And so, but we don't, the imagination doesn't expand anymore. Like, open up your mind, just like, and dream so big. At 14 years old, I dreamed big. I was like, I'm leaving Lakeland, and when I come back, I'm gonna have this, and this. And not that I just said it, I wrote it down. I put it in my Bible. I prayed about it daily. So I wasn't blindly walking, right? I was walking purely by faith because I knew what I had prayed about. I knew what I had promised my mom. I knew what I had promised my brothers and sisters. And when you promise that, then you have something to always chase the rest of your life. And it's necessarily not sports, right? It's not just a tackle. It's not just a Pro Bowl. It's purpose. And man, I'm telling you, like, I want this moment, and this is why I told all of Polk County, I want this moment to inspire hundreds of thousands of Ray Lewises who are sitting there and don't know how they're gonna figure it out. Maybe daddy gone, maybe situations ain't right at home, but you can still figure it out. But you gotta have a plan, and that's the new thing, man. So I think that's my theme the whole weekend, like, and I've been preaching this message for a while. Dream big, but dreaming big means you got to do some work too. You know, like, you got to put in a lot of work because a lot of things going to line up for you. But if you ain't in the proper alignment and ready to put in work, then it falls on deaf ears.
Well, now I'm here with Coach Joe, and of course, Coach, you've been in this county a long time, but you were there at the beginning of a wonderful career of Ray Lewis.
Yes, sir. Kind of hitting home now. I was in Canton a couple weeks ago for the ceremony, and just coming full circle. He was a great kid, hard-working kid. He said something today that I try to tell children: talent doesn't win it all the time, but the effort. You know, and that's what he gave. He always gave that extra effort, and if he told you he could do something, he could do it. And his senior year, he convinced me to let him get on the offensive side of the ball, let him return punt returns and kick returns. Say, Coach, I can help you more. And I tell you what, he just opened up our offensive game and just made a memorable season there. We only lost one game that year, but he's just a hard worker. Just very proud of him. He's a guy that always every now and then just come, Papa, how you doing? You know, don't forget where he comes from. So that's a blessing too. So just I'm just humbled today and just a little emotional, but just excited.
Catching up now with Eddie George, and a great college career, great NFL career, but now you're in Polk County supporting Ray Lewis. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, came down this weekend to support my brother. You know, I've known Ray for a very long time, going back to college. And, of course, through our playing days, we've always had a unique friendship off the field, but on the field it was complete enemies. But just tremendous respect for what he's done, who he is, both on the field and away from the field, and who he's becoming. And it's just that love and respect that's always there. And to come back to where it all began for him, it all kind of makes sense on how he ended his Hall of Fame career, his humble beginnings, what he had to go through. I mean, it's just phenomenal to come back and to see the love that he has here at his old hometown. So just wanted to come here and support and also to learn. So it's been insightful.
Well, before I let you go, I got to know, he hits pretty hard, right?
Of course not.
Talk about the camaraderie and the friendships and really families that are built within the National Football League. Obviously, you have a close relationship with Ray Lewis, but it extends beyond that, right?
Oh, it is. It's about life. It's about understanding, who we are as men and who we're trying to become, and coming together collectively to create change, to inspire one another, to cultivate and.
I hope he's telling y'all the truth.
well, actually,
Long nights. And
actually,
I'm still having headaches.
Yeah. Hey, Ray, I actually asked him, I said, so he hits pretty hard, right? And he's like, nah.
No.
I still feel the effects of that.
This one right here, I'm telling you, man, when you think about old school, he made me better. We made each other better. And that's why I think we became such great friends. The first Pro Bowl, I won't tell the story. I'm going to keep the story between us.
Keep it clean. But you see, that's what I'm saying. It truly is the camaraderie. You see it right there. We go way back to things off the field, on the field. But again, it's funny, like when you turn the switch on and he has on his Ravens uniform, I have on my Titans uniform, and the lights go on. It's a completely different demeanor. It's like no other. And you go at each other for 60 minutes, and and every hit that he tries to lay on you is not just to make the hit, but he tries to take you out of commission and make a statement. So that's what makes him a great player.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's celebration of perhaps the greatest middle linebacker ever to play the game. You know what? Forget that. We're in Polk County. He is the greatest middle linebacker to ever play the game, right? It doesn't hurt that he's a native son of Polk County, so there is that, right? My name is Neil Duncan, Senior Business Development Manager for Polk County Tourism Sports Marketing. Of course, I'm part of the Board of County Commissioners. And I know we have numerous county officials here today. The Sheriff's Department is here, as well as city officials from many locations in Polk County, as well as school board superintendent and school board members. Let's give them a round of applause for all that they do for our county. Today will be a day filled with memories as this caravan stops at multiple locations around the county. We here at Polk County Sports Hall of Fame are honored to kick the day off. We felt it was important to give it this small community event type feel before Ray starts encountering more and more of his adoring fans. I do appreciate members from the Auburndale High School team for coming out this morning. We know it's early, guys. We appreciate you coming out. But the high school fields in this county have unmatched talent. I think we see it year in and year out. And of course, the greatest ever, he's here today, and I'm talking about number 52, Ray Lewis.
I walked into a Gold Jacket luncheon, and it was the most amazing thing I've ever seen. I'm sitting there, and to my right is Dick Buckers. To my left is Lawrence Taylor. To Willie Lanier. I'm Jim Kelly. I'm like, wait a minute. And then I'm sitting there, and I'm not dreaming. And then it's Joe Namath. And I'm saying, wait a minute, man. This kid from Lakeland is sitting in this room with those legends? Then God had a real plan. And when God got a plan, I promise you, he will come through with what he promises. But there's some work that got to be done with that, though. There's some work got to be done with it. And that's why I'm glad to be walking back home. We were sitting in that lobby the other day, and I'm telling guys, this was the path. Terrence, you remember? This was the path I ran every night. Every night. Coach Lineberger, you know the routine. Coach Joe, Coach Poole. The way Coach Poole trained me on the wrestling mat, man, I cannot imagine what that looked like again. I'm telling Eddie, I don't know if I could run that many times no more. And what Coach Joe did for me as a father, as a role model, as just a man. You guys, you molded me. So before anybody else got me, I was already a man with morals. And then my greatest inspiration in my life outside of God is my mother. So life for me to come back now told you this. I told you this at 10 years old when I shrugged on a dress and I said, we will make it. And I will get us out of here. But now we're coming back to pay it forward. That's why we're here. The only reason I gotta come do this is because I want a kid to leave here today. I want somebody to hear this message that's sitting home, that's giving up hope, that don't have a father, that don't have economics around them, that's growing up in poverty and can still say, I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna make it. Right? So listen, thank you guys. I'm telling you, from the Polk County Hall of Fame to the Sheriff's Office, to everybody who came out, every brother that came out this weekend, every intimate moment means something. It means something. And we must pay it forward because our kids, whether we don't understand it or not, let's keep saying it, our kids are our future. And we got to show them what hard work looks like. That's the only reason I'm saying to you, baby boy, like, even if you wanted to go against me, man, you got to die for that opportunity. Because I will. You see? Yeah. And then if you beat me one time, you got to beat me 10 more times. It ain't going to end, and you're going to be like, man, this dude crazy. But you got to be a little crazy to do some things great sometimes.
At this time, we'd like to unveil our newest exhibit here at the Polk County Sports Hall of Fame. We certainly don't have a gold jacket or the bust like they have up there in Canton. But I believe Hank Longo has done a terrific job with this exhibit as we celebrate your induction into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. So you'll do the honors. We'll just pull on that front part a little bit. Don't pull hard. There we go. All right, everybody give it up for number 52, Ray Lewis. Well, the Polk County Sports Hall of Fame newest exhibit, the Ray Lewis exhibit, is open now. The museum is open Tuesday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Please join us out here. Back to Sports Central.
Let me win. Let me win. But if I cannot win. But if I cannot win. Let me be brave. Let me be brave. And in the end, attempt.
That's a money shot. Awesome. Well, when Joseph was born, he's 28 years old. When Joseph was born, we had no idea that we were going to be handed a Down syndrome child. And it was quite a shock. And for the first 24 to 48 hours, it was very much of a shock. He had a little bit of a health issue, so he had to stay in the hospital. During that time, we had some reckoning to do, and we came to the conclusion that this was our gift, and it was our obligation to do things with him and make him the best that he could possibly be by whatever means that happened to be. And functionality was our key tool that we used. That one's on the money. Look at that. We take the approach that we don't treat him any differently than you would any other regular child. Now, some folks would say normal child, but I believe that's a term that's almost impossible to find. So a regular child. So we would work with the deficiencies that we discovered, and we wanted everyone else in his life to treat him just as they would any other child. And that forced him to be inclusive, and it also forced him to act like the other children. And when he got old enough, the responsibility was there. So we started teaching him that you're responsible for your own actions. So we give him chores, and we would give him things to do, to learn, and to be responsible for his part in life. So that was our first goal, was to keep him responsible as a child, and then when he got older, as to become a responsible adult in the community. Got one of them out of the way.
Got 2 of them out of the way, and you took the match when you did that. Very good.
Well, we became Special Olympics coaches, obviously, because of the exposure to Joseph. And one of the things that I wanted to do as a Special Olympics coach was maybe take it a step further. Yeah, they can learn about the sport, they can learn how to do bocce or baseball or softball or basketball, but every one of those sports has rules. And my objective was to teach those rules to be played properly, because that is citizenship, and that's what we wanted them to walk off that court and be, is citizens. There are rules in life, and that was my goal. And that's what we did with all of our players, regardless whether he was my son or not.
Your turn for sure. There you go. Look at that, 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 look at that. Oh! All right.
Well, we've had several opportunities to play locally and go to area games, and Joseph has been selected several times to go to state for various sports. He's even gone to the semi-nationals for golf. But this is the big deal here. This is the USA game. This is where you have had to have placed in first place a gold medal at the state competition in your category in that sport and be selected to go from the 2019 games nationwide. He's known in the community. He's known in several communities because he volunteers. He volunteers in the community about 40 hours a week, so he's exposed to the community on a daily basis. They are very welcoming, they cheer him on, and they are very encouraging to his sport. In fact, this one's a perfect example here at Haines City in the Landings. They would come out and watch him the first couple of times he practiced, and they were absolutely floored that Special Olympics athletes, because we had a couple of other athletes come with us, can play the game, because they thought disability means they can't play. No, they're very, 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 very fundamental about their game, and they're very enthusiastic about whatever game they're playing to detail.
Everybody, welcome back to Sports Central. Neil Duncan alongside Gerald Richardson, and I neglected to mention that we were also going to go to our athlete spotlight. But Joseph Lunsford, just a great individual. In fact, you actually knew him, right?
Yeah,
From the golf side.
From our Special Olympics golf. He's involved in a lot of Special Olympics sports.
Great athlete there. This segment brought to us by the Staybridge and Suites, a great partner of tourism and sports marketing. But great interview there. Seems like yesterday. I can't believe it was all the way back to 2018. Ray Lewis, his induction to the Pro Football Hall of Fame, of course, the Polk County Sports Hall of Fame, and you can visit that every Tuesday through Friday at the Lake Myrtle Sports Park in Auburndale from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Check that out, or the USA Water Ski and Wake Sports Foundation Hall of Fame at the Visitor Information Center, 1/2 mile south of I-4 on Highway 27. Check that out. But we got some events in a little bit of time.
Yeah, all kind of stuff. This weekend there's from gymnastics to softball to baseball, you name it, across the county. Big gymnastics event held out at the brand new, well, not really brand new anymore, but
well, it's
Field
year
House in
one,
Winter Haven.
2.0 because of the shutdown with COVID. But
the beautiful Field House, yeah. So softball, a couple of softball events with the USFA, and then the Florida Half Century this weekend as well, and then the GSA baseball event out at Lake Myrtle Sports Complex.
And of course, Florida Youth Soccer Association state headquarters at the Lake Myrtle Sports Park in Auburndale, and they'll be having their Premier League Festival November 6th and 7th. Get the rain out of here, get some of those cool temperatures, and they should have a great event out there.
Yeah. Also, the International Slow Pitch Softball World Championships next weekend out at Diamondplex. Big event there for those guys.
Yeah, and then we have the Mid-Florida Football Super Bowl. That's November 13th through the 14th. WABA Thanksgiving Invitational, also the 13th through the 14th. National Softball Association, guess what? November 13th and 14th. A lot of great stuff going on in Polk County, but we've got some of our sponsors we want to thank.
Yeah, show sponsors Cabana Club, People's Barbecue, Days Inn, The Heights, and our friends over at Hilton Garden Inn.
Some great partners of tourism and sports marketing. Of course, you can listen to our sister show on Sports Central, Talk 96.7. Of course, that's on Hall Communications. Tuesday mornings from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. and then Thursdays from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. For a full listing of events, you can go to centralfloridasports.com or visit centralflorida.org or give us a call, 863-551-4750. The next edition of Sports Central will come to you live on November 19th. I don't know, is that you or you going to be on that show with Mr. Jackson?
I believe so. I hope so.
Really committing to it.
I hope I am.
Well,
as long as you don't get rid of me before then.
Well, no, I don't think that's going to happen. You're doing a great job. But the next live version, as I mentioned, will be November 19th. We always want to thank our friends at PGTV, the whole department, because they give Polk County a competitive advantage in recruiting sports and special events to Polk County, the TV show, and assisting with the radio components, and just really gives us a competitive advantage, and we appreciate them for that. So for Gerald Richardson, I'm Neil Duncan. We appreciate you tuning in. We appreciate you supporting sports and special events in Polk County, and we will see you again next time.